Hello, I am the Showpal Guy, and welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! Stories, to which I tell the stories and experiences of players within the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community. Now today's story is coming in from Reddit, when someone tells a story about having a negative experience playing against some player who says the words, and I quote, "Do you think this is a game?" So, let the story commence. This was a while back, when Monarchs got their vassals and upgrades, but didn't have their key plays yet. I had just seen the support and wanted to test it out for fun. Being a casual that I am, and putting an end to the multiple year break I was taking, I'm in the deck on Dueling Book. Yeah, that old. And found a casual game in unranked again, just to have fun and play around. I found a player who was using a pure Thunder deck. Nothing too fancy, and he was using Solidarity as well as a bunch of stun cards. It wasn't anything too good or meta, and having been a rock stun player before my break, I was familiar with the frustration that stun decks can cause. So I remained calm and thought out all my moves. And now, this is where the horror comes in. Because it's my first time piloting the deck, I made sure to let the guy know what was up. He seemed fine with it, but I had to do a lot of reading and thinking to make the plays that would benefit me most. Side note, yes, Monarchs, despite how simplified its playstyle is, as somebody who tried to get into Monarchs and tried learning the deck for the first time in its first initial steps, yeah, there's a whole lot of reading going on, and a lot of key plays for Monarchs. Yes, Monarchs at face value is kind of a monkey deck, but unless you pilot the Monarch deck, it's actually very complex. Side note, everything was decent until out of the blue, he started to complain about how long it was taking me to make my plays. Then he complained about me not using the full monster names in the chat. When I was saying that I was using their effects, it started with me saying Vassal F, Vassal Effect. With one Vassal on the board, I switched to Shorten Monster Name Effect. To which the guy blew up a little bit and demanded that I use the full name. Again, it's the only card on my side. Eventually, I told the guy to chill out as he was starting to fly off just a little bit off the handle. In the middle of a children's card game, this guy was just going off. I remember distinctively that he shouted in the chat, and I quote, "Do you think this is a game?" To which I was stunned. We eventually got to a point where the tables had turned and I was now losing. I think he made some sort of mention about how his deck was strong or something. Anyway, I got some decent top decks and managed to turn the tables on him, remove his key field cards with the big boys. The salt from my opponent returned, and when I beat him, he just quit and left without a word. Needless to say, it left a bad taste in my mouth, and I figured I was right to have taken a break, and that I should stay away for longer after this experience. That is the story, and I can easily say right now, even though you're playing the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! In a virtual setting, you can offend someone. You really can. I understand we live in a generation now where people are easily offended, but remember, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a children's card game. Yes, we identify towards figures who are like 30 years old, 20 years old. Yes, there are a lot of people who play this game who are much older than 16, 17. Much older. If you go to a card shop, you're going to see a mix of ages. You'll see a 30-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 16-year-old. But no matter how old you are, you have to remember, if you're playing in a non-competitive setting, don't take the game too seriously. Don't go on and say, "Do you think this is a game?" Now, chances are this player might have been trolling. I wasn't there. I don't know. Chances are they might have been. It's hard to comprehend the idea that there's some person out there who will say the words, "Do you think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just a game?" That to me is bizarre. It is very bizarre. And if you ever interact with a player like this, just ignore them. Just ignore them, really. Because, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is never meant to be personal. And although there are some toxic people out there that exist within this community, please be courteous, be nice to one another, and remember, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is indeed just a game. Now, you can definitely be butthurt and upset in a ranked competitive setting, I believe that to be true, but if you're playing in an unranked casual setting, don't take L's too seriously, don't take wins too seriously, because in the end, Yu-Gi-Oh! Truly is just a game, and hopefully people, when they do play with one another, whether it be Dueling Book, whether it be EDO Pro, whether it be in the locals, in a YCS, in a regional, in a remote duel, no matter who you are, please be courteous, please be nice. Once again, I am the Showpal Guy. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! Stories. If you have any stories you want to share yourself, feel free to comment down within the comment section. My name is Showpal Guy. See you guys next time. Feel free to hit like and subscribe. See ya.